So hello and welcome to BETV. We have with us Mr. Devang Sampath, Director Strategic Alliance, Cinepolis India. Hi Devang, how are you?
Hi.
So Devang, I'll start with some of the figures that I read in the morning. It said that you have a mark of 400 screen by FY18, right? So how much has that been completed and what would be your targets for this year?
So we are well on our journey. Basically, what has happened is that Cinepolis, after we entered, we have now, with all the acquisition, with all the organic growth that we have done, we have reached 374 screen. What we have seen is there are potential is quite huge for multiplex industry, but we've not, all of us put together have not been able to open more than 150 screen every year. So that's the growth which is happening. The multiplex industry overall is about 3000 screen now, including the standalone screens. We have been able to open out of 140 or 150 screen that opens, we have been able to open 40 screen every year. That's what we intend to do for this year and the coming future also.
Around 40 screens per year?
40 screen per year is what is we are adding every year.
Sure. Have you figured out the markets that you'd be there? Because there's A plus A, B and C, right? So how would you, put up these screens and which are the markets that you think?
We really don't look at market as a city. We look at market as a catchment. So really, it doesn't make sense for us to look at a very small area in a big metro. Like if I'm opening, say, Vasai in Mumbai, is probably market C for me compared to I'm opening in main MG road of Guwahati or Patna, which is like market A for us. So it purely depends on where you are starting,
there's more
which
crowd
catchment.
or there is more residential?
The catchment. I would call it the catchment from the location. What kind of mall developer is depending. Most of our cinemas are dependent on the mall development. So where we are going, with whom we are signing. So there are a lot of other factors. So to answer the question whether you're going to A market, B market, C market, no, we are going everywhere. We will continue to do that. Metros, we have expanded well with our presence in Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Kolkata. We have covered all top 5 metros. We have covered top 10 metros now, the recent trend. But we will continue to expand as and when the right catchment comes along.
When we talk about the kind of screens these catchment area has, now somewhere I read the investment is rupees 3 crore per screens, right? Does the investment changes from town to town, or in your case from catchment area to catchment area? Example would be, say, a mall in South Delhi. How much would that take to set up a screen given the kind of seating you need to make, vis-a-vis, say, somewhere in Patna or in another city, smaller city?
So basically, the 3 crore figure that you looked at is also an industry average. Cinepolis, as we are not on a public domain, we normally don't look at our finances like how much we are investing on per screen or what we do. What we believe is on investing in an asset which is not compromising the viewer experience. So for us, in-body experience is no compromise. So we don't compromise on sound, no compromise on projection, no compromise at all on your seating. So having said that, what else can you add is the lobby. So in lobby also, what we have done is our format with a concession where you have your clear definition for popcorn, Coca-Cola, nachos. It's for concession. All the gourmet food, any new invention that we want to do in F&B is in the coffee tree. So basically, the lobby is also quite well planned for. So we have defined one model. Yes, we can keep adding flavors to it. We can keep adding new things which gives a better option for customer to experience. But the investment per se doesn't vary more than I would say 15% plus or minus. But the base remains the same. And hence we call it the in-body experience has to be nothing but the best. When a customer is coming, he is paying for his seat, that seat he should get the best experience, whether it is spend 15% minus or 15% less. You are coming here for experience of audio, you are coming for an experience of your visuals. So projection, sound, chair is complete no compromise for Cinepolis.
Okay, so where is the big change where's the big difference between the two theatres?
Like I told you, the lobby. Lobby is where you can add chandelier with silver color, with gold color, with platinum
As much
color.
as you want
but
to jazz it
depends.
up and
Basically,
keep
you
it
jazz
simple.
it up. Yeah, you jazz it up, and that's precisely, and that is also very. I mean, we have seen operation globally, but that's more of an Indian developer that they are looking at. Okay, no, build in my mall. I want my lobby to look like this.
Yeah.
So we are. I mean, they have their own requests and demand, and we basically give them what they want. But in the entire process, like I said, our focus remains on not compromising on in-body experience. That's where the cinema strength comes out from.
Tell me one thing, the fact that it has been written a lot of times that you started with a target of 500 screens in 2016 when it was announced, right? Is the challenge in real estate finding the right real estate or regulation, or is a combination of both?
I think it's combination of both. So potential is quite clear. I mean, we keep saying, and right from the time we entered, we keep saying that there is 8 screen per million population in India versus that of matured market like US, or even if you count market like UK is about 132. So 8 versus 132, the potential is huge. We kept on comparing ourselves with China, which we should not. I mean, now they are. I mean, the only comparison was when we were 1,000 screen, they were 1,000 screens as well, multiplex screen.
I think now there are about 9,000 screens or more than that.
No, in China there are 60,000 screens. Yeah. So they open 9,000 screen every year.
Every year, yeah, that's the point.
So yeah, I mean, they have been growing. They have been growing at a rapid pace. The similar potential is there in India. Whether we say that why it is not happening, single screens are dying. So what has happened in that transition from when we started comparing ourselves of 1,000 screen to the journey of 60,000 for China is we had about 3,000 single screens which are dying. They are replacing with the multiplex screen. So that's how now there are 3,000 multiplex screen. But overall screen count still remains about 9,000, 9,500.
Sure.
With lot of language benefit, our contribution from box office does not depend on one specific genre, right, or one specific language. Hollywood, which is the major contributor in most of the territory, contributes only 20%. We had Bollywood, which used to contribute 80%. Now the dependency on Bollywood goes down to 60%, wherein the 20% now is the contribution coming from regional pockets in the regional language, whether it be Marathi, whether it is Gujarati, whether it is Bengali now. South is separate altogether, but even the other states have started contributing with their local language. So potential is huge. We are seeing that the cinemas every new screens that are opening is contributing about 125,000 more admits, which means more and more people are watching movie and it is not cannibalizing. So that statistically it's proven that it has more appetite and people are looking forward for consuming more multiplex. Yes, both the points that you rightly mentioned, the dependency of multiplex growth will always remain on the retail growth, which is on the real estate retail, not only the real estate but real estate retail, which a lot of mall developer initially went wrong. When they started building mall, they were selling it. So which means when you sell, then you don't control the mall. You lose perspective of how to run your business. You lose perspective of how to do marketing. Sure. They were more concerned about ye box khada kiya per square feet, you sell it and then you go for it, which does not help. Which means a lot of mall developer have failed delivering. But there are organized mall developer who have understood why it is happening like this. Potential for real estate retail is also quite huge. So now it is growing. Now people are building right size mall, right brand mix. Now if you're looking, there is segmentation within the mall which is happening. You have a footwear, you have undergarments, you have kids section, you have section for family. So now segmentation is coming, which the mall developers are understanding. So there was a real estate growth, slow real estate growth, but that is not only because the supply was not there, it is also because understanding of model for real estate developer took time. Now that is getting in place with all the retailers and going and explaining them, with all the foreign and international know-how coming in. There are local research which has happened. So it's growing. It did not grow because of that reason, and of course the licensing is an issue which we've been facing as an industry for quite long. I mean, we go through about 29 licenses, which means 29 different authorities, and at a different phase of the project life is a quite big challenge. We are looking at one window clearance. We wish that happens soon, but as of now, that's not happening.
Speaking of F&B and advertising, I mean, one of your competitor earns majority of the revenue from F&B, and in placement advertising is also a big thing for cinema goers. So currently, what is the mix of revenue that comes?
So it is
Percentage
wouldn't
wise,
call
not
it,
absolute.
Yeah, no, sure. So in terms of percentage, it has, it is still lower in terms of mix. And in India, when you say one of our competitor, they are still nowhere near to what the global standards are. So when I say global standard, even for Cinepolis, box office to F&B ratio is 1:1, whereas in India it is still box office contributes 60%, which is very high, and your 25% comes from F&B and 15% from all the sales, advertising, and other revenues. But the ratio of 15% on the total revenue of advertising, it is what it is for global standards also. What is not there is the F&B, which means that every time a consumer comes in, they pay 100 rupees for box office and 100 rupees on F&B, which in India is about 45%. So every time a consumer pay 100 rupees, they pay 45 on F&B.
Sure. Any plans to grow the F&B side of the business?
We have been doing quite an aggressive efforts. Like I told you, first it comes from designing itself. So we designed our cinema in such a way that we have first identified what is the same thing that consumer wants to buy quick. Basically, we are a place where in 10 minutes you want to serve 200 customers who have come for that particular show interval, right? Now we say that popcorn, Coca-Cola, nachos, whether it is samosa or hot dog, depending on the city and the places, we've divided that. So that place is specifically dedicated where you're a quick mover, you're just placing, you're taking and going. Along with that, if you want to order something, we have designed a coffee tree, which means you have a specific segment, which is like a coffee shop within the cinema hall, where we not only serve all the gourmet coffee, cold and hot beverages, but we also have options like grilled sandwiches, pasta, pizza, you have nacho bales, you have steamed corns, and all the other variety of food, where you can just, even if you want to rush back to the movie, you
give the
place
seat
your order
number
and give a seat number, and that can be delivered.
Got it.
So that's a design, right from designing. Now recently we have joined hand with Chef Saransh Goel. So Saransh is helping us, Chef Saransh is helping us in defining the entire F&B experience, redefining the entire F&B experience. With his help, we have introduced overall 33% more product than what we used to have. So which means every time a consumer comes in, they have about 100 food option which they can choose from. And we are going, I mean, that Chef Saransh is known for his street food, and he's also Australian MasterChef contender. So we are working with him in redefining the process. We have already launched this menu. We are evaluating how customers are reacting to it. The initial response has been quite good. What we used to sell, what I was sharing, the ratio of 100 to, it used to be 38, now in recent time it is moving up to 45. So it is very clear that if you give consumer more option with a better product and a variety, they're willing to buy it, and that's what we are looking at doing.
In the overall aspect, where does India stand in its contribution in the revenue in the global play? Is it very minuscule at this point in time? You expect it to increase. So where does the India business stand?
Yeah, it can only grow. So Hollywood, basically depends on it depends on the genre of movie also. So movie like you can say Jungle Book will feature in the top 10 countries of the world, but there are other type of genre of the movie which does not even contribute 1%. Like kids animation movie doesn't work in India, which has a global huge market. I mean, overall, India as of now, it's not contributing great to Hollywood, but overall box office it does. Having said that, it is only here to grow. I mean, if I have to put things in perspective, in India initially let's say even when we entered in 2009, the contribution of Hollywood used to be about 5 or 6% of the overall box.
Yeah, that has increased over a period of time.
That has increased like 300%. Now it is
300%,
now
yeah.
almost touching 20%.
So in Cinepolis's book, India's contribution should also increase, right, over a period of time.
Yes, overall part of, yeah, I mean, we are now 6,000 screens and India is about 374 and growing. So yes, we are growing globally, and as far as India is also concerned, it is growing.
You have different formats, something like a megaplex and then a regular
Yeah.
this thing. So somewhere I read right now you have 4 megaplexes and there's a plan to put up 15 more, right?
That's right.
By when these will come up and which are the kind of markets that you're looking at?
Yeah, so again,
Markets as in catchment.
yeah, market is a catchment, but what we are looking at is, when we entered India, we wanted to only do megaplexes. We said, because that time single screens were mushrooming in India. I mean, there were a lot of single screens were getting added, and we said that with so many content options, which is unlike any other country in the world, why don't we give more option in terms of giving them better one-stop solution. So and this megaplexes has been a huge success all over the world. So we said, no, we must bring that, and that should be Cinepolis differentiator. We started first one when we first started and negotiated first deal in Pune, which is in Seasons Mall. I mean, the mall developer requested for us to please do research one more time. That do you really think that that property will work? Viviana, the shade developer that we've started in Thana, 14 screener. It was very difficult to crack it. But when we really opened the cinema, which is now almost 5 years back, both the mall owners are now taking pride that we have the best mall in the city, and Viviana is among the best mall in the country, in the Asia. And not only that, that cinema contributes number one in most of the movies. So when we talk about which is the number one cinema in the country, it is not Mumbai, it is not Delhi, it is not Bangalore, but it is Thana. And suddenly we realize, oh yes, there is a potential. So yes, megaplexes is what something that we are looking at. We've opened 4, all 4 have been running quite successfully. It took us really long to convince the cinema owners, the mall owners, to give us a space for us to build, because typically these megaplexes takes good about 80,000 to 100,000 square feet of space, whereas the mall development itself is about 100,000 in India, most of the mall. And even if it is higher, say about 500,000 square feet mall, still mall developer will not give you the entire floor plate. So we've somehow now convinced, now mall developer come to us and tell us that no, can you make a megaplex? And that place is in demand. The VIP concept that we developed, the 4DX IMAX, which we launched, is gaining a lot of traction. And we look at, I mean, this 15 more that we signed, we look at opening depending on the mall development. But that's part of our journey.
It's a slow process, I think, because the number of screens are much higher, so it will take some time. Okay, tell me one thing. Time and again it has been written about that footfalls at theatres are dwindling thanks to the shortening of window between, say, theatrical release vis-a-vis something that comes on, say, Amazon Prime or Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Does it worry you? I mean, I as a viewer have the option of not going to a theatre and skipping a movie completely.
Yeah.
I did it in certain cases, and I thought, I shall let it come to
Right.
Prime or Hotstar or Netflix, and then I'll catch it up. Does it worry you that this is happening?
I think the first statement can be corrected, whether the cinema footfall is declining. The answer is no.
Okay.
Every year on year since last 5 years, the cinema footfall is only growing. Yes, there are the big budget movies which have flopped, but that doesn't mean cinema footfall has gone. You have other movies which are movie like Badaiyog, movie like Andhadhun, which
A different
has started
genre altogether.
different genres. 3. I mean, who would have thought that Rajkumar Rao small budget movie would touch 100 crore, or movie non-star cast movie like Andhadhun will touch 100 crore. So that was the change and shift, and I would give that credit to alternate platform. If we have a right balance, then both can coexist and both can complement each other. For an experience, you will always go
To theatres,
to
yeah.
theatres. Yes.
Yeah.
Movie going is not like sitting in one corner and consuming that's not entertainment. it's a family time. Hence we speak about the food option. Hence we speak about the luxury, what we give inside the auditorium, what experience we give, how your washrooms are. The what we've seen is after the agreement of what we
Shortening of
mutually
window?
agreed. No, what we mutually agreed with the producer and distributor is that for 8 weeks there will be a exclusivity for multiplexes.
Sure.
So which means that the only content that you want, you're seeing, you will not be able to consume for 8 weeks in any other alternate platform but in theaters, in multiplexes. So which is where we are gaining more traction. There is a clear mindset that if I want to see this movie, I don't want to wait. I mean, I will not wait for 8 weeks. Yes, there is a rerun. There is a repeat value which can always be consumed at home during the flight and other things. But this alternate content or alternate platform, I believe, have given audience an understanding of how the small budget movie works, and you don't only depend on the top 5. It's like irrespective of how the content is, the moment your poster of the big top 5 guys are there, you will have like the biggest day of the year, which is shifting now. It's not that. Even the non-star cast movie can really give
It's
you
all
the
about the
biggest day.
storytelling now. I
It's
think
all
the
about the-
content demand has changed completely, right?
Completely. And consumer are very smart. By Friday afternoon now they know
They know.
which movie they want to go for, which movie they don't want to go for, and it is growing steadily. I mean, look at Avengers. I mean, look, Hollywood movie on Friday. I mean, it was crazy demand. I mean, the advance booking, we have not seen that for last 10 years.
Yeah, I think that's a very unique case where I think bookings happened a month before.
And the good part is that uniqueness is happening every year now. We had Bahubali, which created that uniqueness. Now it is Avengers, so
Yeah.
different genre, and there are different, and that's about storytelling. That's about cutting your promo rights. That's about telling your customer that come watch. Then you don't want to wait for 8 weeks. Yes, you want to see it then, and we have seen that frequency of movie going has increased.
Okay.
We keep tracking our data on our customers. Initially used to come like once or twice in a year, are now coming almost 4.5 times a year, which means that the movie consuming habit is changing, and now you are consuming different genre of movies as well.
One last question, you have a tie-up with Paytm, I believe.
Right.
It was very much utilized during Avengers Endgame.
Right.
However, when you look at the marketing strategy an exhibition company has, they ideally do a showcase of a movie or, they try to associate with a movie. Where does that fit in for Cinepolis?
Look, so marketing, Paytm is one of our channel partners, right? So like initially we had Book My Show. So Book My Show started an concept of you choose your seat where you want to sit.
Yeah, that worked well.
Right? That really worked well. Now, post that, demonetization happened. We suddenly saw jump in on our online. By the way, even without demonetization, this was growing well in terms of online penetration. Now, with Paytm, with other wallets and other channel partners coming in, cinema is one place where it's a weekly habit. So all the channel partners are seeing that, okay, how do I keep my consumer active? How do I keep my engagement active with my customer who are probably using me once in a year or twice in a year? To keep them active throughout the year, cinema is the best platform. Having said that, multiplexes has gained equally by giving comfort to the customer, where initially to go for a movie used to be like a big pain. Will I get my seat right? Will I get my ticket? Now we have a lot of offers. You have all the banks, not only Paytm but even other banks offering huge discount. Like I have about 12 credit card in my wallet. Which one to use? So clearly the one which I have an offer, make them active, and then that remains active. So it is a strategy where all the channel partners are using multiplex. We were in touch with one of the travel aggregator portal, and they were saying that customer use our portal only during holiday.
Yeah.
Let's do some tie-up wherein I keep my customer engaged and keep talking to them even during when they are not going for holiday. Sure. So basically, cinema is Our multiplexes is giving a platform where every screen, if you have about 125,000 people coming in, how do you keep them engaged?
Sure.
So, and it works well for all the partners as well as for cinema.
Sure. Thank you so much, Devang. It was lovely to have you with us.
It's
Thank
pleasure.
you.